Alright, we are back. Hopefully we are doing well. Up and running again. Technology. I don't even know what I did. Like, I don't even know why the internet would want to do that to me. Like, you gotta wonder why that happened. Getting the show back on the road here. Bear with me, those of you that have rejoined. I'm just not even sure what I did differently or what I did wrong, but here we are. What I really want to actually dig into, though, is the board members tonight and just read some old due diligence. Right, maybe it's using this. The government's watching me. Just kidding. Alright, let's do some OGDD. Definitely want to read some tinfoil on this as well. Alright, I'm also going to retweet this out. Response to my other one, because now it's the wrong link. But this is all learning process. All learning process. I'm going to keep saying it, but it's the truth. And if anyone wants to see what I did to my phone over the weekend, like a genius that I am, that's what I did. That is my screen currently, so that's where we're at. But we're chilling. Posting the new link on Twitter, just in case. Alright, added to the thread. Damn, that's crazy. I have 459 followers. Thank you all that follow me. Like, it's crazy. I never imagined having that many like Twitter followers. I never even used Twitter really until I got involved with GameStop. Like, I used it like here and there, just like stupid stuff. But like now, I like really enjoy it and just like getting involved in things. And I think my feed's pretty interesting. And it'll be interesting to see what else is going to happen with it with Elon and all the drama there, right? I know I'm just like whatever about all that stuff. I'll just keep using it as long as people are talking about GameStop on there. I want to talk about GameStop on there, so I'll just keep using it for that at least and just see what happens with it. Jacksons, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Thoughts on Ryan Cohen tweet today and the fact Steve Jobs always wore a turtleneck when announcing something big. That's interesting. I did catch that actually. I just started trying to read the tinfoil here. Or, yeah, in terms of the replies. It's possible that they're going to do something with Apple, and I wonder if, and thank you, Morgan, if you're here, I appreciate this list. You gotta wonder, are they going to do something with Apple? Is it like something with the App Store? Maybe they came to some kind of agreement with the NFTs and the BS, like, that's maybe I'm being too hopeful or optimistic, right? In terms of like doing something with the App Store, because I know part of the problem with like actually putting the marketplace in the form of an app is because then Apple would be like, oh, well, we got to take 30% of everything, blah, 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 right? So that's interesting there. But the fact that Steve Jobs always wore a turtleneck for announcing something, it makes you think that like Ryan Cohen's going to announce it. And it just really feels like something's brewing, you know, like this perfect time period, like 2 years exactly after like the sneeze or the rally or whatever you want to call it, meme stock era, whatever you want to call that time period. like 2 year anniversary, just about, right? And then all of this is brewing. And you also think about it's not just that it's like, oh, it just so happens to be 2 years later. At that time, options contracts and like the farthest out thing for everything, right? Like you can buy right now is January 2025 contracts, like a lot of just 2025 like write offs, right? Or like underwritten instrument swaps, whatever it is. For 2 years out is usually kind of like a max time period, at least for options, it's definitely that. Now we're exactly 2 years later, and you have to think at that time, they thought, well, let's just kick this can down the road as far as we can because this is a short term thing. This will go away. So let's just put it in a hole, bury it, and just worry about it in a couple of years. We'll take care of it. I don't think anybody expected this saga to play out the way it has. I mean, part of the fun in it, right, is that it's constantly changing, and you can constantly just be kept guessing, or just something new happens, and there's a new tweet, and there's a new announcement, right? There's a new BS article. There's always something to dissect, and it's just so fascinating. It just makes the whole saga so epic, in my opinion. But you gotta wonder if something big is coming, because it feels like the company would announce something, and I don't know. You gotta like. I think Ryan Cohen like just loves like just the theories, right? Just all the ideas that people put out there for GameStop. You have to think he's reading them sometimes too, just being like, you know what, like, who knows what could happen? Or like, oh, that's not such a bad idea. Or oh, people obviously really are encouraging towards this. Like he can actually like, I'm sure gauge in some way, just like the sentiment of people. I mean, I'm sure it like what I'm saying is like I don't think it directly benefits GameStop, but he can use it to indirectly benefit and just do the small things, right? Or people are like, oh, I really wish they would do this. Like maybe not even him specifically seeing it, just somebody from GameStop's team, some executive, somebody of importance that can be like, hey, this is something that has demand. Let's try and do it for our customers. Because part of what the company is all about now, right, is meeting demand for customers, delighting customers, just having that good customer service. That's why they opened that Florida customer care center. And now they do that fast delivery, which they really didn't have before prior to Ryan Cohen. And of course, Ryan Cohen buys all the stocks. Like, this is, again, just a nod that he reads Superstock. He reads what people are saying about GameStop. And also, this, guys, I'd be very wary of this. I don't know. This is very sus. Very, very sus. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't show up anywhere. Like, I don't know. Do what you want as an individual at the end of the day. But, of course, this is trending with it. That's all I'm saying. But it's crazy. Ryan Cohen is definitely the most zen. I think that's a fact, super blank. I think he absolutely is zen as fuck. Like, honestly, like, he's so zen. Like, he just is working at the company. Like, he's just trying to do things for the company, and he's not involved with all the noise. And I think that's what people admire so much. And he gets that, and like he's about that. He's like, not everybody has to put everything on social media these days. Some people like need to have a private life. Like, what's the whole thing too? Like, he just revealed, like, during that interview he had, that was his birthday. Nobody even knew like when the guy was born or his exact age. Even, I'm pretty sure, like, it's not even out there. So it's kind of cool too how this guy's like a little bit mysterious at the end of the day. I like that. But he seems very zen, undoubtedly. So y'all think the Doomps are nothing burger? Oh, look what happened yesterday. All this fraud manipulation. And not a single regular is causing a scene. Cause them reasons because I'm here, boys, till these wheels fall off. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Because, yeah, Bloomberg just, like, reports. Like, I've tried to use a Bloomberg terminal. Like, I used it in college a little bit. And I had to learn it a little for, like, a certain class. And it's interesting. So it just, like, pulls feed from everywhere. So it's like, if the swap's leaked or something, in theory, it would be able to quickly pull the feed. And even if it's like see, it's an old filing date, but if it was like filed within, right, you would think it's in the swap and it leaks out in some way. But again, the whole thing with. Are we reconnected? Okay, we're back. Quality has fallen off for the second. Okay, we're back in good shape. But yeah, let's look at some old DD. That's really what I want to do tonight. And I definitely want to, what am I looking at? Edit outdated info, Karma Farmer, repost some old garbage from OP. Well, see, that's why I have to read the comments sometimes. But that's also the thing with everything too. I feel like everything out there, and not just with GameStop, with a lot of things in the world, I have to take with the utmost grain of salt. It's so hard to trust anything. There's so much uncertainty, so much like just crossing of opinions and just facts and fact checkers, and there's this, oh, they say that, oh, they say this, but then really all this is going on over here, right? So it's all noise. There's all lots of noise out there and craziness. Where am I trying to go here instead of scrolling aimlessly? Due diligence. The DD library. But really what I want to sort by is, let's do top of all time. The all-time best post. And I feel like that's where you could really find like the top tier old school DD. It's very funny. This one got the most upvotes. The most upvotes. It had the most action to be taken. The OG tweet from 2021. Can never forget about that. The Bigger Short. How 2008 is repeating at a much greater magnitude, and the Rona ignited the fuse. GME is not the reason for the market crash. GME was the fatal flaw of Wall Street and their infinite money cheat that they did not expect. And I think ultimately DRS is the huge X factor, right? Whereas, this was written before DRS, and it's like DRS, I don't think anybody like on the other side of things or anybody betting against GameStop would imagine just individuals would just suddenly be like, you know what, let's go old school and book our shares, directly register them in our names. And suddenly they did. Suddenly all these individuals out here are doing it. And the seller boxing, the crazy. This is their goal. Remember what Mark Cuban said? Their goal is to never cover the short? That's what this kind of dives into. That's crazy. This was how wow, all the upvotes and the awards. How long ago was this written? September 11th, 2021. Crazy. That's so remarkable. This is almost a year and a half old now. If you don't give a damn about Yahoo Data and just skip to the end and read that, seriously, everyone needs to read the post. Alright, let's do that first. And then we'll circle back. Wow, lots of editors. Promise link at the end of the post, even the whole post is contained with the message. Let's see it. Amanda, thank you for being here. I've been watching you for a while now. I've been investing in GME for a while. I've been still a newbie in the stock world. Where do you find information about stocks? Thanks. Honestly, all over the place. I think Yahoo Finance is a great place with like simple info. And then another great one, macrotrends.net. I think that's really good for charts and just looking at things on a long-term time frame. Like if you just like GME, see like look at their revenue, their net income, all these different things. But it's on a yearly basis, quarterly basis. So just be aware of that. Then if you zoom out, zoom in, do some different stuff. You can look at all these different things here. I think this is a good general source. And then GameStop's investor relations. That's like when I want to confirm something, if there's some news, I want to find out if it's news or news, you know what I mean? So I always check there. And then just in general, read things elsewhere, but take it with a grain of salt and try and cross-reference it with information in other places. Ken Griffin seems to be shorting your stream. He might be. Maybe that's why he keeps crashing. I don't know. Edward, thank you for being here. I come for GameStop. I stay for the echo. Oh no, it's echoing. Oh no. Is that better? We're gonna see right now. Is that better? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. I literally don't know. Okay, hold on. Can you still hear me? Let's see. Okay, okay. I blame Finra. It might be. Echo can't stop, won't stop. I love the running joke now is that my stream is always like bugging. All right, let's go. I think I'm fixed. But now I'm like echoing it with this. So, all right, we're getting there, guys. We are getting there. No, I really, guys, I'm gonna try and contact my friend that I'm pretty sure will be good with OBS, and I'm gonna really work on the shit. I'm really gonna resolve this. I'm so sick of all these problems. Like it's funny and all, but like it's not funny, you know. It's like after a while, I'm like, bro, this is driving me crazy. And look at this GameStop just randomly running into the end of the day, to the after hours. Always interesting. And just another day, just crash down, just slow bleed upward, crash again at the end, run a little in the after. Like just weird how it's trading lately, right? The past week or two, I don't know, something just feels weird about it. It just seems like a cycle, but like an odd price cycle in some way. Like it's still early in it, maybe. We'll find out. I don't know. Perfect. Let's go. We're alive and well. All is well. But oh yeah, this is the OG thing written about seller boxing. I remember looking to this. But also I wonder like who wrote this? Like why is this like this is archived from 2004, right? Archive.today. It's saved from okay, I see, I see. From Investors Hub. There's a form of securities fraud known as naked shorting that's becoming very popular, lucrative to market makers. Their practice is known as seller boxing. It has to do with the fact that NASD and SEC had to prettily set a minimum level for which a stock can trade. This was set at 0.0001 or 1/100th of a penny. This level is appropriately referred to as the seller. This 1/100th of a penny level can be used as a backstop for all kinds of market maker and naked shorting selling manipulations. And this is why, right? People talk about Blockbuster liquidated stock pink sheet. I don't even know what it's called. It's like 5 letters or something. If anybody knows it, wants to drop it in the chat. This is interesting. Let's see. SEC suspends trading of Blockbuster shares on the over-the-counter market. Oh, this is it. Pink sheets have been running up in recent weeks, but it seems like investors are finally coming to their senses. The shell of the movie rental chain, which was purchased out of bankruptcy by Dish in April, plunged more than 40% this morning. Following investigation by the SEC, the SEC temporarily suspended trading on Blockbuster following a filing of the name change company to BB liquidation. Because, yeah, I think they bought out, like, the name Blockbuster, so they had to change it to that due to lack of current and accurate information concerning the company's securities due to assertions in third-party press releases to investors concerning other things. Blah, blah, blah. None of the publicly owned stocks issued by parent BB liquidating prior to the commencement of these Chapter 11 cases, including the Class A individual, which are currently trading. Oh, okay, see. Let's see what these other ones are doing. Or did those other ones liquidate under Dish? But see, you just gotta look back on this stuff and you gotta wonder, like, how is this still trading? And why was it always doing, like, funky things? Again, thank you guys all for being here. Appreciate you. Ryan, appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. I just buy it and hold. I pay it no mind. It be like that. And Edward, thank you. I love you too. Jackson's, do you have GME shares in an IRA account that you cannot DRS? And if so, are you comfortable with them? I have shares in both computer share and a brokerage account. So honestly, I don't feel that comfortable with them in a brokerage, but mine are in Fidelity. And I think if any brokerages are going to be able to handle the situation properly, of all of them, I would like to think it's Fidelity, considering their size. However, I stopped buying my IRA once I really grasped the full concept of computer share. And part of the reason I was even buying my IRA is I was contributing to a traditional one last year, trying to just get like my taxable income down like a little bit. So I was partly doing that. So that was also kind of like incentive to do it. But then I kind of realized I'm like, one, I don't want to over contribute to that because I'm still trying to pay off like student debt and some smaller stuff like that. And also just what I feel about DRS and how confident I am now in DRS, and just I feel much more comfortable with my shares there. So I guess it's not really a clear answer. And the truth is, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth. I'm like, should I just like distribute it and take the penalty? Like, I don't know if I want to do all that. It's one of those things, kind of like what I have there, I'm gonna let it ride. I really hope I don't get screwed in some way, and I'll do everything I can to make sure I won't get screwed in some way. But at the end of the day, I at least know majority of my position is in computer share. Keep it up, homeboy. Kingsbury, thank you for being here. Is it just me, or does it feel like GME hit bottom already? It does, but honestly, it feels like that a lot, right? Oh my god, I thought this said Adam Air, and I was like, what the heck? But let's see. About these. But yeah, no, it feels like it did, honestly. I mean, but it always kind of feels like that, and I think we're all a little biased in that way sometimes, but or at least I'll speak for myself on that. But if you just look like how much buying pressure was happening, like in this range here, like even since like the start of the year, right? It started dropping. And I'm pretty sure like this exact same time last year, right? Like it ran up into the beginning part of February and then into March, and then like ran into February again. You can't really tell on this scale, but gotta wonder if the stock just trades like generally the same now, like year after year, or like what kind of cycles is it truly in? Like it's just, is it really all algorithmic trading? Like it's crazy. But let me pull up all these. Oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do copy, Control F. Let's see if it'll come up here. I guess not. I guess that was it was like split up in some way. This is the actual one, I'm pretty sure. I'd love to read through all this, but the thing is, I realize like it's very difficult to dive deep into all this because there'd be like a lot of reading, and I don't want to like read it out loud because obviously that's not very engaging. I should try and like go back and like kind of mark it up and then go through it on a future stream. That's what I'm thinking now. Where is it? Oh, BL. Ah, there we go. Nothing today. You gotta wonder why it does something like this. Because think about it, this is like a 100% move. So it's like, how does this happen? Gotta wonder. Right, so May, like we should, let's compare it to Game. Well, it wouldn't show up that great on here in terms of a comparison to GameStop. I guess we could try it. But see, it always just like spikes up and comes way back down. So this was the end of 2019, massively randomly. Literally up to 60 cents. I wonder if something was happening at that time. This time up to 30 cents. And this was, you know, January of 2021. And this would really validate the seller boxing DD, right? Or just this first line right here. There's a form, it is known as naked is known as seller boxing, and it has to do with the fact NASD and SC had to literally set a minimum level at which stock can trade, referred to as the seller. This 1 cent, this fractional of a penny, can be used as a backstop for all kinds of market maker and naked short selling manipulations. So, like, in what way is that a backstop? Like, that's so bizarre. Like, how could that be? They headed south to the OTC, BB, and pink sheets, where the protective effects from naked short selling, like Rule 10A and NASD rules 3350 and 3360 and 3370, are non existent. The unique aspect of needing an arbitrary seller level is that the lowest possible incremental gain to move this seller above this seller level, wow, I'm butchering this, represents a 100% spread available to market makers making a market in these securities. When compared to the typical spread in Microsoft of perhaps 0.4%, this is pretty tempting territory. In fact, when the market maker has no bid to a 100% offer, there is theoretically an infinite spread. It's crazy. It's so bizarre. How could that be? Crazy. I'm going to go back to here and looking like, how does it perform relative to GameStop, right? So I feel like we need it in a different chart here. Kind of want to see, is there anything interesting here? Okay, so this is the past year or so. January 13th. Okay, it's in this little interesting time frame here. And there's another pretty interesting volume stick here / candlestick here in this December range. What's GameStop doing there? 16 through 21. Okay, so nothing really there besides the stock falling right before, so I don't think that necessarily has a correlation. See something interesting here, November 8th. What was this? Okay, that's an interesting time. It's when GameStop kind of bottomed at that moment in time, at least. Again, here, the 30th. That's, yeah, nothing. Not necessarily a correlation, but you have to wonder, consecutive volume sticks right here, July. But also, like, does there even need to be that much volume to be backstopping? And you'd have to think, like, after seeing this on, like, the top of Superstock, that if you were a short seller using specifically Blockbuster as some kind of backstop, then you probably wouldn't use it anymore, considering a lot of people are still, like, talking about it, it's even speculating on it, right? At least that would be my thought process. Move the bag, right? Move the pile of crap, whatever you want to call it. But you can't help but, like, look at this here. And I bet this happened to other pink sheets, right? And let's see if, just for kicks, like, what happened to GameStop back on this day in 2019? So mid-December 2019. Back here. Not too far. Nope, nothing that interesting happened here. And it's interesting why there was a bunch of volume that day. I wonder if in some other stock, some other correlation, some other hedge or swap, whatever they're doing to use it as the backstop. But it's interesting, it coincided, like, or I don't know if that's the right word there, but, like, it correlates to, like, right near GameStop's bottom. or like right before like it really starts this kind of like progress of explosion throughout 2020. Like that summer going into 2021 was just like a huge buildup. I think a lot of people forget about that. Like I wasn't involved with GameStop even at that point, but looking back, you can see there was like a huge buildup going into that. So it wasn't just completely like an explosion. Like if you look just before these candles, right? See, like this is on a zoomed out scale. And now you might think, oh, I don't remember just jumping up this much. This is because the stock dividend split that price adjusted. Then it's crazy. They had given a dividend back still in the beginning of 2019. That's not even that long ago when you think about it. Like, it's kind of crazy. Pretty bizarre. And it's like also at that time, they're just burning cash to still be paying a dividend. They were just literally burning themselves to the ground. Like, it's very crazy. And the fact the board had a private jet is just insane. So insane. Hmm. Yeah, I've watched this too. This is also worth it. Remember this? But it's funny, any story like this that you hear about from a long time ago, there's no real articles about it. It's all swept under the rug. Like, the thing that's different this time, in my opinion at least, about GameStop is that it's just tons of individuals. See, this was one guy who tried to do something. Even that CK Diamond situation, like, a group of people tried to do something, right? But ultimately, it all comes down to, like, individuals. And you can't, and this is a big company with a big name, so you can't just sweep something like this under the rug because it's all individuals owning stock too, all around the world. You have an international stockholder base. So this is like international securities fraud and a huge problem to the whole world if it's like, wait a minute, the stock market's not legit. The United States stock market's not legit. And like it's very concerning then to the whole world and then just concerning to everything. And it's like, well, what else is not legit? So it really just starts to snowball so quickly, and it's like, it feels like we're just on the horizon, and this keeps trolling me, making me think it says Adam Aaron, Adam Ape. It just feels like we're on the horizon of just some very interesting sequence of events. I just don't know exactly how to play out, how crazy it'll be, and I don't want the system to be like completely destroy it. I want us to like live on in the world. You know, I want things to be okay. So it's kind of scary at times, thinking like how bad it truly could potentially get if this is as massive as some individuals think. Right. So it's crazy, and part of it is just the journey and seeing like, is it really going to be this bad? Is it really going to be this crazy? And like for me, I just like, well, damn. No matter what, I just like the stock. I'm just holding that at the end of the day, and that's what it comes down to for me. What are your thoughts on Icon and Teddy? The same as before. Yeah, I mean it's interesting that there's still no like updates, no official word from like Carl Icon, and like I feel like there could be something brewing, and like also now Ryan Cohen tweets about like his what's it called, turtleneck, and it's like if that's a reference to how Steve Jobs wore a turtleneck before announcing something, so maybe he's gonna announce something with that. I mean, you got to think something's potentially brewing, but it's just so hard to say. And it's just like there's always going to be like noise thrown out there. So it's like anything I even do read that encourages me into it, into thinking it's possible, I'm like, but what's the downside, you know? Or just like anything else that would say like, oh, well, there's no way it could ever happen. I think like, well, it could, right? Why could it not? So like I just remain speculative. I guess that's the way the best way to put it. House of Cards. The ETC is taken over by big money. Transition from manual to computerized ledger system in the 80s played a significant role in the 1987 market crash. In 2003, several issuers of DTC wanted to remove their securities from DTC's deposit account because DTC's participants were naked short selling their securities. Turns out they were right. The DTC and its participants have created a market-sized naked short selling scheme. All of this is made possible by the DTC's enrollee, Seed & Co. And it's true. It is so true. It's so crazy. Sup, man? John Jar Binks, thank you for being here. Jar Jar Binks, shout out Star Wars. But yeah, this is what's crazy. Book entry only. Many analysts blame the use of computer trading, also known as program trading, by large institutional investing companies. In program trading, computers were programmed to automatically order large stock trades when certain market trends prevailed. However, studies show that during the 1987 U.S. crash, other stock markets which did not use program trading also crashed, some with losses even more severe than the U.S. stock market. Here's a summary. Fairly computers programmed by fellow people, trusted by people who do not understand the program's limitations, as computers name it, and human judgment went out. That's kind of scary, yeah. Let me read that one more time a little slower. To be fair to the computers, they were programmed by fallible people and trusted by people who did not understand the computer program's limitations. As computers came in, human judgment went out. See, that sounds scary, and that reminds me of like this right here, right? Chat GPT. This shit's scary, yo. And now Microsoft has major control of this. Bill Gates. Don't want to get too tinfoily hat, but I don't know. I'm not a big Bill Gates fan. Let me just say that. But it's crazy. I love going back on some of this stuff too, because just like triggers your mind. It gets the thoughts going. Like, oh my gosh, how did I think about this when I read it originally? Right, compared to now, did I think I'd be sitting here right now thinking these things? And anytime I have that thought process, I just think like in 9 months from now, right? Because I see 9 months on the screen right here, so that's what makes me think. Well, 9 months, a random time frame. I'll be probably looking back on something that I saw. I'll be looking back on Ryan Cohen's tweet, right, from today, and thinking, oh, at that time we were thinking it had something to do with Apple. It had something to do with him announcing something, but it really just meant this. Oh, it really did actually mean he announced something. So it's gonna be fun, and that's part of the fun, right? It's just the journey. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Gotta love the clown emojis. Always have your back. I love that this is like a top upvoted thing. Oh, this is a good thing too. This is worth rewatching. I don't know if you guys remember that. And then this guy's face throughout it is hilarious. He's like, "Bro, why are you saying all that?" Did you already talk about the halted stocks? Kind of, but not. I guess I could talk about it more. I mean, I didn't get into it too much because it's like, I don't know. We're not like the truth is like we're not going to be told anything, right? We're only going to be speculated on. Like we're only going to be able to speculate on it. And somebody sent it to me before. Shout out to you, Morgan, if you're here. Like they just like, is it still here on the list? I have to check. Oh, I was in the right spot. See, this was all yesterday. 24. This is the only one? Really? Oh, news pending? Yeah, sure. It was, they all said this, the LULD pause, which is just volatility. And I wish I had pulled up, like I have a TD Ameritrade account just for a little using Thinkorswim. But you could see on the chart, right? Like if I draw the candlestick of like what it looked like on all the stocks. Oh no, I had it before. I had it before on here too. I completely forgot. Right, PLTR is an example. I was looking at Altera before. I think even Walmart was one of them. Like look at the daily chart. Look at the daily candle. It's so weird. So the halt triggered, like, and if you look at the 1 minute candle, the halt triggered because in the first 15 seconds of trading, apparently shares executed, which I don't think it's possible they actually did, right? Like that's the whole idea. They executed, right? At a high, like look on the screen to the left here, at a high of 876 and a low of 584, all within the first 15 seconds of trade. I think we're really connected. Are we reconnected? Damn, I had a good tangent going on there. Of course, I disconnected. How could it go up that high and then that low, right? Or like, how could all these stocks, these giant market cap names, right? I think I even saw a thing today. Some large institutional guy was like, "Yeah, this is very strange to see. This isn't even meme stocks where the price can be manipulated." It's like, wait, what'd you just say? They could be what? And like, it's crazy. It's like you have to wonder what happened in this 1 second. And the unfortunate thing is, we probably won't ever know. And they just make up some BS thing, and it's like it's just not normal that happens on the public United States stock market, New York Stock Exchange. All these different stocks open, or like 200 in the same moment at the wrong prices. Like, what? It doesn't even make sense. Like, it just really makes me think when you see things like that. And just tinfoil hat here that it's like literally at the end of the day, it's all just numbers on the screen because they're all in the name of Seed and Co, right? Like, I always use this example. Like, when you look at the transfer form for like transferring accounts from custodian to custodian, they all have this ACAT number, right? And then I'm going to check the chat in a minute. I just want to make this quick point here. So like delivery instructions are next steps. Like if I'm the custodian, like sending the shares. So like how a transfer works, when you DRS, you contact your broker to send it to DRS, right? Because you're having them book it to your name. They're like re-registering it from the name of Seed & Co. into your name. So that's something they have to do. But typically, if you're going broker to broker, right? Let's say I'm going to Charles Schwab. I have my shares at Fidelity right now, for the sake of the example. I would fill out Charles Schwab's transfer paperwork, submit it to them, and then they would go to Fidelity and request a transfer of shares. And how Fidelity would do that, because remember, all the shares are in the name of Seed & Co., is they would just re-register it through Schwab's ACAT clearing number. Remember, the ACAT system, like which I just had up. Where is it? Here. Yeah, the ACAT system is under the NSCC. So if the NSCC is underneath the DTC and the NSCC is running the ACAT system and the DTC is Seed & Co., it tells you all you need to know there. So that's what that ACAT number is. Right? And almost every broker is going to have that. Or if you're working in the back office, you're going to request the ACAT number to know where to move the shares. Because the idea is you don't want to constantly have to re-register the shares because individuals are trading all day, every day, everything's electronic. So they thought, or somebody thought, groups of people thought, whoever, a while back, right? Let's just do it all in one name to make it simple because we could just use one system. Boom, boom, boom. We all just have a clearing number, right? DTC, delivered to DTC clearing number 0164, code 40. And then I looked this up last time, right? DTC code 40. And it like codes the actual like transfer. A code that identifies activity. And it basically says like dividend reinvestment or closed-end mutual fund, all deliveries. I want to see the DTC code list. But see, yeah, settlement takes place between DTC and its National Securities Clearing Corporation counterpart. Code that identifies an activity. I don't feel like clicking on all of it. But it just, because yeah, I've already talked about this before. I should make this into a video. Or I think, actually, no, I did make this into a video. But any company, right? Like even like E-Trade, they have it too. Crash the stock market reputation is all-time low with the BS pulled. I agree. Weren't all 80 owned by two entities? What was it? What all 80 what? I forgot now. I'm caught behind My quality sounds hella better, bro. 420 bong smoke? Yes, sir. Finally, we've come a long way. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Oh yeah, BlackRock. Yeah. Freshmaker, what up? Shout out to Freshmaker. Freshmaker's the reason I got this headset working. I literally thought it was like not working, but it turns out the mic wasn't plugged in all the way, and that was causing the problem. So we're chilling. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. Also, I missed you before Meagle. My bad. If we get a legit market crash, I think we'll be back at 16ish unless margin calls make this sucker run. I'm not sure what will happen. I think at the end of the day, we all don't know what will happen, right? That's what it boils down to, and that's kind of the beauty of just analyzing everything constantly and just diving deep into things. But I think you're right that if the market continues to fall, we'll see GameStop to continue to decline. But the X factor is, as we've seen from Fidelity customer data and just people posting everywhere, and I'm not saying that's like concrete evidence, but just general sentiment and just generally looking what's going on, individuals will continue to buy shares and DRS them as that continues to happen. And then, as you said, also like pressure on margin calls begin to mount steadily. So it's kind of like a weird self self fulfilling prophecy where it's like send it upwards, it's just gonna go way up. Send it downwards, you're just gonna put the pressure on for the like the classic what's it, all reliable dip before the rip, right? So, and at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. And at the end of the day, nobody really knows how anything will ever play out. When second Lambo? Um, I don't know. Not soon enough. Let's look them up. Lambo. This is my favorite. Lambo. Marshawn Lynch pulls up to Lambo in a Lambo. This is life goals, guys, in the future. This guy's hilarious, Marshawn Lynch. Pulling up to Lambeau Field in a green Lambo. Such a goon. But let's see, client transfer request. See? Ready? Oh. This is not it. Transfer an account. Ah. This is it. Yes. See? DTC number right there. And by the way, E-Trade is now owned by Morgan Stanley. They bought him out. And kind of going back to before about buyouts and stuff like that, it's crazy how like all these like institutions constantly just merge and merge and become bigger and bigger. Like E-Trade was pretty big in itself, and Morgan Stanley's already mastered, but Morgan Stanley was like, "We'll just buy you out. Why not?" Right? It's pretty crazy. You just list what you need. See, they have it all over. DTC number literally in the header. Crazy. If a Lamborghini, get a dark horse. Sounds great. We haven't had any forward guidance or announcements. Good answer. What's your setup for streaming? What are you upgrading next? Dude, that's a good question. My setup right now is literally a Microsoft Surface laptop from college. Um, got this headset. I already forgot the name to be honest. But next, I really do want to get like, I don't know. I want to get a computer. The thing is, like, I have a desktop, but it was given to me by somebody who used to do like 3D modeling and graphic design. The thing is, it's still literally Windows 7, so I'd have to like finesse like Windows 11 or something. I have to like upgrade it to really do more with it. Then the other challenge is too, I still like live at home with my parents, so I don't have like a full setup spot. But low key at my grandpa's, I've been thinking about setting something up like a streaming studio, and also just great reason to see my grandpa, right? Just go over there and be like, hey, I'll come hang out for a little bit, and I'm just gonna go in that room and talk to people on the internet. Don't mind me. So I don't know. I'm still kind of like debating honestly, but I plan this stuff too, and I try to like drive myself too crazy because I find myself like if I think too hard about things, just overanalyze too much, like I just burn out. Like really trying to work on that, like not burning out. And that's why you'll see at times like I won't make videos for like, or I haven't in a while, and I'm trying not to do this anymore. Or I just don't make videos for maybe like 5 days or something, where I'll make like boom, boom, boom. I'll just have like a bunch going on in my life or whatever, and I'll just like feel like just everything is happening, you know. So I really just want to like not burn out, and I don't know. I just have a lot to figure out like that. So what I guess what I'm saying here is, it's on my mind, but it's not like my priority right now. Just because it's like difficult, I'm always kind of on the go and on the move. So definitely gonna keep working forwards though. Click the thumbs up. Appreciate you, Sean, Aaron, and thank you. Oh my God, I'm butchering so many words today, guys. I don't know what's going on. I need more coffee. Have you seen the Dark Horse? No, let me look it up. I drive myself crazy overanalyzing crap. I think we all do. I think we all do. It's the truth. It's just human nature. Of course, man. Appreciate you being here and watching. We need more, so we don't need to worry anymore. It's true. Are you looking for huge changes to GameStop as a company, or do you think they'll maintain what they've developed so far? I think they won't do anything like massively. Like there might be more in the works. Or let me digress for a second or step back. I think what they're going to keep focusing on is Web3 and gaming and just different branches within that. But I think they're also looking to use that to go even bigger and just build the GameStop name in Web3 and potentially do other things in Web3 and just gaming and expanding. Because I really think like esports, like having like a streaming team, having like a esports team themselves, right? Things like that they could have under the name of GameStop. So I really think the big way they can expand is just building the name GameStop, if that kind of makes sense in some different ways. Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull up that car right now. What is it? The Dark Horse? I'm gonna get like Katy Perry. It is pretty sick looking. Oh, Dark Horses and oh, is it like the oh okay, I see the Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Gotcha. As you can see, I don't know that much about cars, but those look pretty sick. I wish Ryan Cohen would give more info on what he's doing behind the scenes. GME needs to buy out Steam. That'd be crazy if they bought out Steam. I don't know if they'd be able to do that. Steam's like a whole crazy thing in itself. It's insane how far it's come. I remember like using it when I was young and I was like, wow, this is cool games. And now it's like just massive, right? And in a way, I feel like Steam's, I guess, kind of a competitor to GameStop or might become one, depending how things kind of go with Web3 and what they do with Web3. But maybe they'll like integrate in some way. That would be interesting. But honestly, in terms of Ryan Cohen speaking about things, I feel like it's always tempting to know more, right? But in a way, you want to kind of just trust him and the team managing things because just the attention constantly on GameStop, anything the company says or does is used against them, to be honest. Like, that's just how it seems in the mainstream media. So I think that's kind of why they're more silent on things and very subtle. And in a way, it keeps individuals, I feel like, analyzing, kind of like how we're doing right now. We're just looking into the stock. I know I have a car on the screen, but besides that, we're looking into the stock, we're analyzing it, we're talking about it, we're theorizing it. So it keeps like individuals on their toes. So in a way, I feel like it has its benefits. I think we need a big partnership to finally cement this idea of NFT marketplace. Fortnite, Microsoft, Warzone, something bigger where you can sell guns and skins. Yeah, honestly, I feel like they do need like a big breakout game, right? I feel like that's kind of what they're going to do, or have a big breakout game using GameStop's NFT marketplace. And people are just like, well, I love this game. I'll just figure out what this NFT stuff is anyway. And what I've kind of said before, and I'll like kind of say it again, where it's like NFTs is just a name, like it's a fancy name, right? But like what it actually is underlying, I think it's more so like about the use case. I think it really like comes down to like what it is, like what you make of it. Like if you make an NFT that has utility, that's what it's about. And it's just called an NFT, right? It's just the title of it. But at the end of the day, it's just a digital asset, whether it's like a sporting ticket, it's a like a like anything that you can actually pull up something with. It's just a it's just a fancy name. I don't know if I'm exactly describing that right. And I think a lot of people just get caught up in that. So I think what has to happen is utility and the NFT marketplace just really like integrating, and that mostly happening with games and people using the items in games. But I think you're right. A huge partnership would absolutely catapult that and really cement the idea. Keep your cards close to the vest since it's a new thing, Web3. Makes sense. I think you're right, Jar Jar Binks. Or John Jar Binks. I like that name, by the way. That's good. Ryan Sung, thoughts on rumors of Icon and Bed Bath & Beyond working with Ryan Cohen? Honestly, I don't know. Like, I keep hearing that, but like, I'm not really like seeing it from anywhere, like specifically. It's just kind of like murmurs. But it is interesting that Bed Bath & Beyond, like their whole board, just decided to suddenly like vest their shares. So it seems like something's brewing there, like something's about to happen, honestly. But at the end of the day, like I don't know, I don't think it really has anything with GameStop. I think if anything, anything at all, something with Bye Bye Baby and some spin-off, some buyout, some ultimate restructuring of Bed Bath and Beyond, and GameStop gets Bye Bye Baby for ridiculously cheap, right? Because I want to see Bed Bath and Beyond's market cap right now. Get me back to like the normal. Oh my goodness. Because you'd have to think if you could get Bye Bye Baby the good assets of it for extremely cheap. Like that's the thing. I think if GameStop's gonna make any acquisition, they're gonna use a small amount of cash. They want to keep a strong balance sheet, especially now with the economy the way it is. So if Bed Bath's worth 380, I mean, I think they'd have to get Bye Bye Baby under 100. Honestly, like for it to be really worth it to them. The risk. I mean, it also depends if any debt or anything like that came with it. If any debt came with it, I think the company is like, nope, not worth it for GameStop. It would have to be like Bye Bye Babies, assets, the rights to the names, all of that would have to come to GameStop. I think for under 100 million, and that might just be like way less than what it's worth. Because remember, Ryan Cohen said he thought it was worth way more. And it's like, wait, why would he say that then? So now I'm kind of putting myself in a mental loop here. When they start dropping announcements, you'll wish they'll cool off. Yeah, no, I mean that's true. In a way, when they drop announcements, it's gonna be like, oh, now it means this. Oh, now it means that, right? Like anything at all, the company does. There's like usually a spotlight over here, right? The company will announce something here, spotlight over here. That's what it seems to be too. I think Icon was a psych op. I learned all I know about NFTs from CoffeeZilla. Yeah, no, I mean that CoffeeZilla is awesome how he exposed Logan Paul. And Logan Paul, like I don't follow like drama and stuff like that much, but he did that. Did he really fire that guy George? I have to look this up. Logan Paul George. Oh, he left. Did they part ways? Did he get kicked off? I don't know. But it seemed like all of a sudden, like I was seeing this stuff, like he's just being such a dick to this guy. And George seems like any impulsive clips I've seen, George seems like an awesome dude. I hope he goes and makes his own show and has a lot of success. I should invite him on here. I'm like, George, come on Tetron, talk about your experience. No, I'm just kidding. He'd be like, what the fuck's GameStop? But no, yeah, I mean it's crazy. They feel like did that guy so dirty. Own digital asset. He's building Teddy. That would make sense. I mean, I really think Teddy could have to do with digital assets, and it's interesting. Maybe Teddy would make the official acquisition of Bye Bye Baby, would be restructured there. Then Teddy gets involved with GameStop in some way. Like the possibilities are truly endless. The new 8K filings for Bed Bath & Beyond show the entire board cashed out RSUs, which means they are not going bankrupt. Someone is going to buy the company. Okay, makes sense. So your prediction for GameStop's potential acquisition that Furlong mentioned is Bye Bye Baby. No. So I don't think like they're actually gonna buy Bye Bye Baby. Buy too many B's in here. I'm just kind of like speaking off the dome of like the potential if it were to happen. I think that would be the route or like how I would imagine it happening. But honestly, I think it would be more with Teddy. But I can't deny that whatever's happening with Bed Bath and Beyond is interesting, right? It's worth watching, undoubtedly. But I really don't like think he's gonna specifically do something. I could be wrong though. Like I think it's like in the question, and that's why like I'll go through the thought process. I won't just like completely dismiss it. But I don't think it would be like that guy Kaz or Claus, whatever. It's always like Bed Bath and Beyond and GameStop are going to merge this afternoon. You heard it here first. He says that like every single day. So I don't think it's gonna be that. But I think it's not out of the question entirely. And if it were to happen, it has to be in a way that's extremely beneficial to GameStop's strong balance sheet. I think that's really what it boils down to. I don't know who's buying the company, but something definitely is. It does kind of seem like that, Georgia, and it seems like all of a sudden price action. Um, Also, just the board members taking that action, like that's interesting. Like, why would they just all do that at once unless something is literally about to happen? But the question is what? The question is why? The question is how? And the exciting thing is, we'll just have to stay tuned and find out. But at the end of the day, I just like GameStop, so I just hang on to that. But thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Getting mad hungry, so I'm gonna have to go soon. But definitely gonna go for a little while longer. Let's see anything else going on with the trending stocks. Let's see the price targets. Oh, this is Bed Bath & Beyond. 10 cents. It's so crazy though how it's like everything's become like, oh, the short seller's this. Oh, the short seller's that. Right? Like everything's all about the short sellers now. Like what's that guy's name? The CEO that's speaking out against it? GNS. Like, I don't know. It's just too good to be true, these stories. Let's see, what is this? Red chips, yeah. Let's see. Consider the vote on the resolution for share repurchase mandate and a share consolidation. Interesting. So they're shifting the shares around. And, the other one that was kind of interesting, which I don't know if there's any update on it, the MMTLP, was that it? Yeah, like these are all interesting, right? And like the point I kind of want to make is like I'm not saying other stocks can't be messed around with. Like I feel like it's definitely possible. But of all these stocks out there, right, that are being talked about, GameStop is the only one that's really turning profitable and really turning things around and looks to be in good position on the horizon. All of these different stocks have various financial issues and different businesses, unproven businesses, right? Not that GameStop doesn't have more to prove. I absolutely think they'll continue to prove that. And part of that is through their strong leadership. But the unfortunate thing is, like, this push for like market restructuring has now, like, just like anything else in the media, like been turned, like it's thrown out there, right, into the wind, and it becomes a tornado. They make it into a okay, we're reconnected. Do you think okay, let me back up. It'd be more valuable if GameStop simply partnered with them to sell their products. That would make sense, Georgian. Do you think Roger Hamilton, that was his name, thank you, Naked Short Killer Strategies is helpful towards us, given that it's drawing eyes towards the topic? Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what I was getting at there, and I guess maybe chatted a little before I was saying that about these other stocks, where it's like I think we need eyes on this, but then it kind of becomes this tornado of attack the fight back, naked short sellers, get back at them. Yeah, it's happening on this stock, it's happening on that stock. Like it's good because it like shines a light on this very real issue with the United States stock markets and just stock markets as a whole, right? Or at least in my opinion. But the unfortunate thing is, like, it seems like it results in a lot of like hype and oh, do this, oh, we're doing that, and a lot of individuals then maybe start chasing a stock. Whereas I think if you're trading some of these plays and you're doing well, I think that's great. But I think if you're in any of them long, you have to really make sure like you believe in the company itself more than just the story of whatever they're saying about short selling, and whether it's true or not. I think it all comes down to like what the company is underlying. So if you're going to invest, you have to absolutely be aware of that stuff. Whereas trading, you could maybe not be as aware, but you gotta, have your absolute trading plan and make sure you're comfortable trading if you're going to do that. Rent said GameStop will pay dividends. Do you agree? I think it's possible. He's definitely turned me on to the idea of it. He's brought up a great point about shareholder value and that the company's shareholders are also the company's executives, right? So for them to be compensated in shares consistently, them getting compensated with dividends would make sense because essentially their salary is shares. And if they want to continue holding their shares to show their belief in the company, how they would get returns is through dividends, which would make sense. But I think GameStop has to do a lot more before they get back to dividends. It would also make sense because they did have dividends in the past. But I'm not sure at the end of the day because maybe they have some more growth perspectives they want to reach, they want to obtain, they want to just be aggressive with. It really depends. I think a lot depends how 2023 plays out, 2024. So I think it's possible. When I honestly had thought like, yeah, GameStop want to do dividends again, but hearing the way Morant spoke about it in terms of delivering shareholder value and the executives being shareholders as well, it kind of brought me to the idea that I think it's certainly possible, but I think there's a lot of X factors. Completely agree with that, even if it's a couple cents per share. Yeah, let me get caught up on chat. I think GameStop pay out a cash dividend once they have a net profit. Merritt's also agreed that somebody's going to buy Bed Bath and Beyond. In his video today, I asked him what he thought, and he responded directly to me. F. Georgian, it's going to be very interesting to see how BBY will unfold in the end. So much drama around it. I definitely agree with that, Ryan, because no matter what you think about Bed Bath & Beyond, it's at least fun to watch, right? Like, you gotta just feel like, and all, like, the way people get, like, so passionate about arguing, too. Like, I just look at them like, damn, I don't care about it that much. You want to own it? You want to hold it? You want to trade it? Like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do at the end of the day. Like, I understand people are like, oh, it's distraction from GameStop. But I don't think anybody's selling GameStop to buy Bed Bath and Beyond. And some individuals make money on stocks like Bed Bath and Beyond, and then put money into GameStop. But I'm not saying do this or do that. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is do what's best for you as an individual. I know I've got 500 shares and a bunch of calls, not quite as much as GameStop position in terms of value, but I see a big swing coming, and then I'll make a large purchase of GameStop with profits, average of $2. Nice, $2 is a great entry looking at where it's at now. What should GameStop want with Bye Bye Baby? I don't see the benefit. It's completely wrong sector. What doesn't go out of style? Gaming and babies. LULD to the moon. Not that familiar with it. Let's see. Oh, limit up, limit down. I'm done. Thomas fuck. I was like, yeah, is someone saying like something random? But no, yeah, literally what I was showing before. Makes sense. Great show, man. I like your style. Oliver's Papa, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm just saying whatever I think, honestly. I appreciate you. But what doesn't go out of style? Gaming and babies. It's true. And Freshmaker, to respond to you, I think it kind of has to do with Teddy and seeing the patents there, and that they're going to try and sell. It seems like different like toys and games and things that have to do with kids. So that's where that Bye Bye Baby speculation comes from, as well as Ryan Cohen saying in the past that he thought it was worth $1 billion, which if GameStop, like I was kind of saying, could in theory get it for 100 million, and he feels like he can integrate it with Teddy and then maybe integrate that with GameStop in some way to make it worth $1 billion. Maybe that's what he meant a while back, right, with his original shareholder letter to Bed Bath and Beyond. But again, I'm not truly sure that'll happen. Like I'm just going off the principle of it or the idea of it because I feel like it's definitely possible, right? But it's definitely very much not possible in the sense like I think it's very possible that Ryan Cohen had a different plan for Bed Bath and Beyond. He saw potential in it and just uh, turning around or just shifting in some way, and he made recommendations and he couldn't just come to agreements with the board. So I think at the end of the day they were like, okay, or he was like, okay, I'm going to sell out, and that was that. I think that very much could be a possibility as well. But again, I don't know. I'm just an average guy. You make your own decision on what you think it is, and we'll all see at the end of the day, right? Like we're kind of saying right now, it seems like something's building, something's coming sooner than later. So we'll see who's right at the end, right? And at the end of the day, who cares? It's just fun to watch. I also think it's very important to see the sentiment change around Ken Griffin. Definitely more suspicion drawn towards him since the recent profit boast. That's very true, Ryan Sung. That's a very good point right there. I have been noticing that it's like these other random people like on Twitter, just random people who like tweet stuff about finance, stocks, economics, whatever, right? They're just like, isn't it suspicious that Citadel made all these profits? And I even had a friend who just follows finance in general send it to me. And he doesn't normally send me stuff about GameStop or Citadel. So the fact he saw it just in like his regular like reading about finance, you're right, it's interesting. It's like why this sudden sentiment? And my thought process is now always like there's always a reason, right? There's the story always seems like it's being pre-written for something. So why is this being narrated now? What is this building up towards? That's what I wonder, right? Like I always think like whatever's being told in terms of the narrative, it seems like it's always building up for something, right? Like remember the whole if GameStop goes over $30, it could be parabolic from S3 Partners or whatever. Remember that whole thing? That was like a story pre-written. So when the stock went way over $30 intraday and it came crashing back down, of course tons of people were aping into calls and just YOLOing like, well, they said to go over. Everybody's buying. It's all over social media. So like I don't know, but at the same time, I say everybody's doing that. I think less and less events like that happen where people get burned. People are getting smarter, right? Like myself, I look at something like that and I was like, just like I'm like, this is sus. I'm like, this is sus. I'm like, I don't buy it. I mean, I talked about it and I was hyped about it, right? Who doesn't like at least be like, that's interesting. Oh, okay, and like everyone's talking about it. But I think more and more over time, I step back and I'm like, no, no, no. There's a reason this is hype. There's a reason this is happening. And it's like the idea of like, you want to be able to like take everything in. And I'm just really trying to work on this myself, like just in life in general. Take in all the bullshit around you, everything. but then like dissect what's really happening, right? Instead of just trying to block out the noise, bring it all in, dissect, and focus on the important parts or the facts, or it all depends like on the scenario or what you're actually thinking about, but just narrowing things down, taking it all in, seeing the big picture of it, and then be like, no, this is really what's happening. This seems like the story that's being pre-written. Ken Griffin is a good guy. Leave Ken Griffin alone. Hey, I'm not saying anything about him. But I don't think that many individuals are too fond of him. I'm so weird. I like my coffee either hot or completely cold. Like it doesn't even need ice in it. It just has to be either completely cold or completely hot. And I think it's good. When the stream started, it was hot, and now it's ice cold. But definitely want to keep going through old DD. That was something I kind of thought about today. And different executives, right? Just getting into Larry Chang, like guys like him, like just seeing what he's done and just all these different investments he's made. This is his company, Volition. Let's look into them. Sign in to see who you already know at Volition Capital. In high growth, founder-owned technology businesses across the U.S. and Canada generally have between 5 million to 550 million in revenue with demonstrated capital efficiency. The firm's portfolio comprises 26 companies in the United States and Europe. Volition or Volition, that has to be how you say it. Capital specializes in software, internet, information services, and tech-enabled services companies that have operating discipline and aspirations for greatness. I gotta log in to see that. Just Google them. Good old Google. I should follow them though on my LinkedIn. Grow with Volition. Principal Dave Gordon is named that top cap. Okay. Just want to see like news or portfolio. Just dig into all this stuff. Oh, featured exits. Chewy.com to PetSmart. These are like all buyouts. Let's read about their Chewy thing. Acquired by PetSmart in 2017. At the time, the largest e-commerce acquisition in history. Hello, Tetron. Not sure of your name. How's your night going? Hodling GME. Daily Dimes, thanks for being here. My name is Noah. Appreciate you, man. Chewy.com. Let's see. I gotta double up. Background. Weren't keen on Ryan's pitch. In the first few years, the co-founders bootstrapped the business, building the company close to home in Dana Beach, Florida, and adopting a highly disciplined approach of cash efficiency. See, what I really like about reading back on how OG Ryan Cohen was, is it kind of tells me a little bit about how he walked into GameStop. Like, all right, this is how we got to fix things up. Like, I think what we're seeing the company shift towards now is what he walked in and said, this is what we want to get towards. Because obviously it wasn't overnight, and it's a transformation, right? And there's a transition period. And I think we're really starting to come to the point where it's like the the onwards, right? Like the transition, the shift was adjusting a lot of like what was wrong there, right? It was so underdeveloped. Like the company even said that in one of its earnings reports. Maybe Ryan Cohen himself said it. Forgot exactly, but essentially the idea was that like the company is just underdeveloped. Like all the technology for even like you got to think about the small things, right? Like the registers in the stores and just retail technology in terms of inventory, all those kinds of small things had to be upgraded and just re-looked at and just analyzed. So now that all that kind of stuff has happened and the company closed the unprofitable stores, they closed the Kentucky distribution center after they set up the one in Pennsylvania as well as the one in Nevada. They're now understanding like, okay, this is how we can operate efficiently, or at least that's my viewpoint. And I think that now they're getting to, like in a tough economy, a high disciplined approach to cash efficiency. That's what it seems like the company's looking at here. I'm a Noah too. Respect you even more. No way. That's awesome. Don't meet too many Noahs. Shout out to you, Noah. In 2013, Volition managing partner Larry Chang met Ryan Cohen in the Chewy, Florida-based HQ. Within the next 6 months, Volition Capital was the first institutional investor in Chewy.com. Larry said what was truly special about Chewy was, well, you guys could read this. Let me just read it to myself real quick. Delight the customer. They created a no-brainer value proposition. Best products, lowest price. Built their own fulfillment center so they could ship as fast or faster than Amazon, just like GameStop. They had much better customer service than any other pet food retailer. Everything about the Chewy experience was better for the pet owner because commitment was higher to the customer. The volumes Chewy repeat business is part of the approach. So yeah, that's the thing too. GameStop could try and have more repeat purchases, right? That's what the Power Up Rewards program is all about. So everybody gets $5 of credit each month. So most people aren't just going to go spend $5 each month. They're going to go out there and they're going to buy a couple things and just say, oh, well, I might as well get my $5 off. Like when I got this headset, I got my $5 off, right? Because I'm a Power Pro Rewards member. The end result of Chewy's excellence with customers was we would acquire customers and they would stay with us for life. We were deeply loyal to our customers and they were deeply loyal to us. That loyalty was what made the entire business. Sounds like GameStop, right? Because what kind of makes everything a self-fulfilling prophecy in a weird way is like so many individuals just like the stock and support the company now and will specifically go out of their way to shop GameStop because they're invested in GameStop and they like the company that much, right? Or at least that's what I do, or that's how I feel. And I would have to imagine there's at least a good amount of shareholders out there that feel the same way. So now you have a loyal fan base to GameStop. The GameStop name is stronger than ever, at least in my opinion. I feel like it was strong a long time ago when a lot of people were growing up. It was a pretty iconic name. I remember like, oh, going to GameStop. Yeah, then it's just like over time, there became this weird sentiment of like, ooh, they don't give any money for trade-ins. Ooh, like all this stuff like that. And people like, it's always so empty in there. Just like, oh, they don't have this. Oh, it's so like, just like everyone just started hating on it for like purpose, like just for the reason of hating on it. That's what it kind of seemed like to me. So the strength in the GameStop name now, I feel like is stronger than it has been in a very long time. And now there's loyal, consistent customers that will go out of their way to buy a product from GameStop. If I'm going to buy anything that has to do with anything technology, I'm always checking GameStop's website first. And I'm also a Power Up Rewards member. So they have my annual $15 a year. Not a ton for GameStop, but what it gives them is a consistent customer, a consistent $5 coupon to me to go out there and spend. Post Noah's party at Noah's new crib. Bet you're moving out of your current state after MOS. Honestly, yeah, I do want to move out of New Jersey eventually. When? I don't know. Where exactly? Also, I don't know. But I don't know. And also traveling. I definitely want to do a lot of traveling. I want to post. Low key, guys, I might be going to Costa Rica soon. So if I go there, you're going to catch me with some GME updates from Costa Rica, from my resort or wherever I'm at. So that would be dope. If and when the bottom is in for GME, it'll be because of the loyal investor and customer base. I think you're absolutely right. I think it really boils down to that, especially in the economy we're in now. And, it's not holiday season. So this time period, only people who want specifically games and have a passion for gaming are buying anything from GameStop, honestly, in my opinion, or generally. And shareholders like myself, like I needed this headset. I'm like, yo, I am buying this right now. I need this. I can't have bad audio anymore. And I need to get this from GameStop. Also, don't forget, Noah, that GameStop will also match any other competitor's prices. Very good point, Jason. Very, very valid point right there. That makes it a great place to buy your stuff because then you're like, hey, well, they have a price here. You guys will match it. Perfect. Let's go through this here on Volition's website real quick. Choose challenges. Building a team in South Florida. Okay. Capitalizing the plan to reach substantial scale with significant infrastructure investment. Okay, GameStop's invested in their infrastructure. There's a comparison there. Driving unit economics and working capital dynamics simultaneously. Maintaining a competitive advantage against Amazon. So that price match right there, that's a competitive advantage. And the shipping speed, also a competitive advantage they're trying to keep up with. And driving unit economics and working capital dynamics simultaneously. So GameStop needs to go ahead and turn that profit now, and that is what that is where now they can drive further unit economics, right? Where their overhead is what makes them not net profitable at the time, right? Because of their selling and general administrative costs. So if they continue to lower those, that's their overhead costs. And then if they can lower their per unit costs, like as they're selling things, like obviously there's various different units, there's collectibles, there's games, there's devices themselves, there's controllers. But what I'm saying here is ultimately the company continued to operate more and more efficiently, and that's through things like retail technology, such as like keeping up with the inventory, what sells better here, what sells better in this region and that region, right? Things like that. And that stuff isn't overnight, so that's going to build over time. And I think if GameStop has the right people working there and the right executives, which I believe they do, that stuff just starts to come into place over time and slowly show up in earnings reports. And seeing things like the Kentucky Distribution Center being closed, now that they got the other two fully up and running, that will definitely cut costs. They've had to cut some employees. That's a little bit unfortunate, right? You don't want to see anybody lose a job, but that will also lead to more future profits. So at the end of the day, we see the company kind of doing these four things, right? These four challenges that Chewy had, building a team, GameStop built a team, capitalizing on their plan with significant infrastructure investment. GameStop's done that with 2 distribution centers, a customer care center, closing the unprofitable stores, improving the retail technology. Now they're driving unit economics. They're working towards profitability, making sure their capital, if they're going to put it at work, it's going to be at work in a good way. They're going to have a strong balance sheet. And now they're building this competitive advantage against Amazon. Again, with the warehouses, the delivery speeds, things like that, the price matching. I want to move to New Jersey after MOAS. A little Long Branch. Yeah, I've been to Long Branch. It's pretty nice there. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, New Jersey's not that bad. It's not the worst place in the world. I don't hate it entirely, but I don't know. I just feel like Arizona was beautiful, man. Like it was just so nice. Like it was so peaceful out there, and I don't know. I kind of just want to be away from like city and everything. But Scottsdale was still like city, but I liked like when I drove out to Sedona. That was amazing. That was like literally the best hike of my entire life. Path to exit. Well, I don't think that's anything for GameStop right now. Including board of directors. Okay, GameStop did do that. Raising capital. I don't think GameStop's gonna raise capital right now. Oh, that's how we partnered. Okay, so it isn't necessarily. Oh, Ryan's perspective. Let's see that. Also, don't forget that no. Yes. Okay, we did say that. Batch any competitor's price. Let's see if I missed anything. Ryan's perspective. You have some investors who you can only ask them to do certain things because they aren't really willing to do a lot of work and get their hands dirty. I could pick up the phone to call Larry almost 24/7. He was available on weekends. He became like a partner. He was my co-founder or one of the employees. I could ask him for anything. He didn't always know the answers, but he would figure out a way to get it done. We could have easily partnered with someone who would have been the wrong investor for a multitude of reasons. We got lucky. Pretty awesome to hear that those two guys are now together out here on GameStop. And it is interesting. Oh, he does go on okay, on Fox News. I was gonna say he definitely doesn't go on CNBC. Yeah, this will be interesting to hear what he said. This will be worth watching after. Because looking into him, I mean, he seems like a pretty sharp guy, right? Like everything he's done, Volition Capital, he saw Chewy before anybody else. So the fact him and Ryan were like obviously they're boys, right? Like that's what that commentary tells me right there. Like I don't know if Volition Capital has commentary like that about other partners of theirs, right? Like, where is it? He almost 24/7. He was available on weekends, became like a partner. He was like my co-founder or one of the employees. I could ask him for anything. I didn't always know the answers, but he always figure out a way to get it done. It's pretty awesome to hear. Those two guys were like, "Hey, bro, you want to go run it back with GameStop and just change the world? Let's do it, bruh." Like, that's how I imagine the conversation kind of going. I mean, obviously not exactly like that, but they seem like good friends, honestly. Fun facts about Chewy and Volition. Chewy's first official board meeting included 2 slides, a lot of laughter, and a trip to McDonald's for soft serve. A lot of people think that's the reference to the ice cream cone tweet, which would make sense. But also, what did that ice cream cone tweet mean at the time? Just, hey, I'm bringing Larry Chang on the board. Maybe that's what that meant. Ryan was so disciplined, or other people from Chewy's board coming over, GameStop's board, maybe not just Larry Chang. Ryan was so disciplined about using his time wisely that he only took 4 business trips during his entire time leading Chewy as CEO. Interesting. I think that has a lot to do with how he always tweets, "I want to work." I like candidates who will work. Ryan Cohen is a hardworking guy, and he's also attributed a lot of that to his father putting work ethic in him from a young age. Larry and Ryan are still fast friends to this day. Fast friends, what does that mean? Just like always on the go? But maybe with GameStop. That's pretty cool. Confirmed right there. Available jobs? Should I try and get hired? Hypothetically, would you trim your GME shares if MOAS was off the table while the company is still operating well? It's hard to say. If would you trim your GME shares if MOAS was off the table while the company is still operating well? I mean, if the company's still operating well, I think like why would I sell? Like at the end of the day, if I see them continuing to move forward and growing, I'm really just going to try and hang on. But it also depends how much it's got up in the sense like if I can make significant change in my life, then obviously I'm going to have to take some out and divest a little bit. But also in terms of MOAS, like what my definition of MOAS is these days is like it just to me, it's what any individual thinks it is in their eyes. In the sense, we don't truly know what MOAS will be. In my eyes, MOAS is just up. The idea of the stock price increasing very dramatically in the future. I don't think it's just going to be one short period of time. I think it's honestly, in my opinion, going to be an elongated period of time. But how elongated is that going to be? I'm starting to think it's going to be like a Tesla squeeze type of event, but maybe it'll be even longer, maybe a little bit shorter. Maybe there's other fundamentals going on at that point, right? So there's just so much to watch. So it's just so hard to say because I really am just going to keep digesting what's in front of me. And anything that doesn't come from the company specifically, let me clarify, I'll always take with the utmost grain of salt because unless the company is saying it, like from their investor relations page, like let's see, GameStop, investor relations. Like unless it comes from here, I truly like am speculative of it. Like these are the only like official things, right, being released. So looking how there's things being released here and there. I mean, not that that means anything at all, but it seems like the company hasn't really released anything big in a while. So Ryan Cohen tweeting like, you know, you've made it when you have the turtleneck, right? Like, I don't know. Kind of makes you think maybe there just is an announcement. Maybe there really is. It would make a lot of sense. Any thoughts on DFV's brothers suddenly appearing? I think it's interesting. Part of me thinks it's just he wanted to go private because of all the attention his brother had, and he kind of just, now it's like after a while he's like, whatever, I can just go back public. Enough time has passed. But at the same time, it's like, why now? Did he just go public? You know what I mean? Is it just after a while he's like, I can just go public again. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Whatever. Or is it now? Let me go public right now to send a low key message because I know or that literally just me going public will tell everybody, yeah, or will hype everybody up in a way. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. But it's interesting. It's interesting why now. That is definitely a valid question. Why now is suddenly he just posting stuff again? Damn, it's all the gifts. Gotta love it. Oh, excuse me. Totally agree. And Tesla like slow squeeze, constant reassessment on a long-term value investment is the name of the game for me. Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to, because you just keep seeing what's in front of you. And at the end of the day, you can only truly trust what's from GameStop. You could read everything else with the utmost grain of salt, but just reading GameStop's reports and just keeping up with the company's commentary, reading their quarterly earnings reports, just listening to the full conference call. Listen to it 2 times over. They're always short and sweet. There's no reason to not listen to it twice. It's like 20 minutes of your time. You can listen to it on like one car ride easily. Definitely worth it if you're a shareholder. Does DFV still hold a majority of his shares? I think so. I mean, honestly, some people say he's a time traveler, right? Like some of the stuff he used to talk about and like the gifs he used to tweet. It's so weird how it's so relevant right now. But honestly, I don't know if he's actually a time traveler. That'd be kind of crazy. But I honestly don't think he sold. I mean, that's just me. But nobody really knows at the end of the day. And in my eyes, if he did sell, I feel like he probably would be out in the public again and just talking about it, being like, yeah, like from my time, from my experience. I feel like part of the reason he went dark is because he didn't sell. Or maybe he sold enough. I know. The connection. Are we back? Terrible frozen spot. Oh, I'm back? Okay. I'm not back on my side screen here. Any second. I always forget I could check here too. Just to be sure. Oh, okay. We're chilling. We're literally chilling. Hey. Okay. Lost stream. You're back. Thanks for letting me know. We're chilling. We're good. So yeah, honestly, I feel like what I was saying about DFV, I feel like he absolutely holds the shares, and that's part of the reason he went dark because he didn't want like the constant like talking about him and just attention on him, right? All those kinds of things. So I feel like he kind of had to go dark too because then he would just be very aggressively like pursued and talked about and just be a constant spotlight on him. So I feel like part of the reason he went dark is to still hold the shares because think about it, as you're being like, I'm done with it, it's over, I'm on to other things, this or that, and like just the way he went quiet also just kind of made him even more legendary. And what's my thoughts on Richard Newton's letter to GameStop? Honestly, I still have to watch his video on it, so I just haven't fully dissected it yet. But I think anybody who's a shareholder can absolutely send a letter to the board. That's definitely fine. But I don't know. I'm only hearing like various things. Like I haven't actually watched the video, right? So I was kind of speaking on it the other day, and like I shouldn't speak on things I haven't actually like watched for myself, right, and dissected myself. But if he's saying to hire like the same people as like West Christian and all them for like GNS, the same all those stocks, like I don't know, I'm just a little bit speculative of that. I'm not exactly sure that's the best idea. And at the end of the day, I believe in what the company's doing and I believe in the board. So I kind of want to let them do their thing. I don't want to be like, oh, you should do this, you have to do that, and like push them to do anything that's not in their plan that we may not know because part of their plan is just being so silent. But at the end of the day, I'm not like I want to be very clear. I think Richard Newton's a very intelligent guy. I've really enjoyed his content and some of the stuff he's put out about GameStop. So I really don't want to like say too much about it because honestly, I haven't really watched the full thing. And honestly, I've just been trying to get myself together with my channel, so it's been hard to kind of keep up with the other like GameStop YouTube guys. But I do try and watch them too. According to the data, Richard Newton was able to find it appears that Keith Gill has a new position now over 800,000 plus shares. The FE is still the biggest retail shareholder, no doubt. I think so too, but that's crazy that if he even has even more shares, if that's that what was that 1.2 million share DRS? That was crazy too. Imagine him and his brother just DRSing like a ton of shares. That'd be pretty epic if it comes out one day. But you have to wonder, like, what is happening with DRS on the next like on the next earnings report. I think it's gonna be really, really interesting, right? Like, what will that count be? Will there be another future psyop with that in some way, like we potentially saw the previous quarter over quarter? So a lot of interesting stuff there. Isn't it surreal that almost everyone that's been involved isn't it surreal that almost everyone that's been involved big in the movement was slash is a grifter? Like even Wes Christian's a grifter. It's kind of true. I was literally just thinking that the other day, and like I don't know if you heard it on the other stream. I was saying the other day, like I don't even know if trust like Dave Lauer anymore. Like I feel like he has good intentions and he brings a lot of important things to light, but like I don't know, he seems to be like caught up, or I don't know if he's caught up in these other names because people are just throwing his name in there. But it's like, is even he like grifting in some sense? But I mean, I don't know. He seems pretty legit, like what he's doing, and like I think he's a good guy with good intentions. Maybe he's grifting to just grow Irvin, right? I mean, think what you want about that, but yeah, Wes Christian's a great example where I thought this guy seems like a guy that's actually trying to fight the good fight, has some experience with this. Remember that clip where it's like, where I come from in Texas, we call that stealing. That was like a big like clip that would be put in like montage like hype videos at GameStop, right? Like talking about like the whole situation. But it's like even this whole time, this guy was either in on it or he just eventually decided like there's money to be made off this, you know? Like Morant's shedding light on a lot of grifters. It's a fact, Super Blank. Morantz has shed light on a ton of grifters. He is really good at that. He's exposed so many people, and even like I feel like just this month alone. But if you just like look back on any of his stuff, like, and it's all facts. It's all facts. When I say exposed, it's not like, oh, he caught him. He caught him doing this, or well, yeah, he did catch him. He catched him like spewing BS, right? Like it's not like he caught him like got him. Like he's waiting for them to like misstep or something like that. He just like presented the facts, and the facts are like all these people had all these suspicious things, and that is actually where I'm getting a lot of my, I guess like my griftar, like my grifting radar is like part of it's from Morantz's channel. I mean, obviously I'm doing my own research too, but he sheds a lot of light on these grifters and a lot on like the situation with GNS and just all these other different stocks. So I think that's a great thing, and somebody has to do it. And he takes the heat from all these people. If you go in his live streams, he'll spit the facts, and it's why I love Morantz. He's an awesome dude. That was before DRS, so you may have bought 15 share dip and DRS them. Betting. Only have faith in Trimbath. Yes, Trimbath is not a grifter. Let me be very clear. She's awesome. I like her. Let me pull up her Twitter. Oh, I'm getting burnt out, guys. I'm going to have to go soon. I feel like I'm like jumbling my words and whatever else. Also got to take care of some stuff around the house. Yeah, like I like how she just does her own thing. Like that's what kind of makes her awesome. If you do something, we're happy. Your trade loses money, they waive broker fee. Wow. Ask, what is your revenue source? Dear friends in India, please be careful. Lessons not learned. Oh, that's funny because that Heidenberg thing that came out today, right? About like that. Yeah, I didn't even talk about that yet. Wow, I forgot about that. Heidenberg basically said this huge like Indian company is just like using shell companies and like just doing a bunch of shady stuff, right? Heidenberg report, right? Atani Group, literally the world's third richest man, is just running a huge corporate scheme. That's what they're saying, and it's like if that's true, one, I'm always skeptical. I'm like, is this another distraction? What does this mean? Is this a narrative being pre-written, right? But it makes like these guys seem to put out like a lot of like BS detecting, right? Like they put out about Nikola and some of those, and like I don't know that much about them, right? But if this is true in any way, there's any truth to it, right? It's just like another situation where it's like a massive black hole in the system where it's just like, how has nobody noticed this? Like I was talking to a coworker about it today, and he was like, if it is true, and like I was just briefly reading into it, he's like, this is so massive, it should be having ripple effects. How is just nothing happens? Like how does nothing happen if there's truly like billions and billions of dollars just like missing? Like it just makes no sense. Like It's so weird. Go rest up, brother. Lots of great discussions on the stream. On the stream. See, look, I'm keep butchering words left to right today. It's crazy, but thank you. No, thank you for being here. Definitely gonna come back again next Monday and next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Always gonna do those days from now on. Morantz has some previous investigative experience. My brother is a homicide detective. They're very similar dudes. Here's to a long and profitable future for GME. Gonna get my kid to bed. Have a good night, Oliver. Take care. Ryan, have a good night. Super Blank, Dr. T has been doing it for years too. Her message hasn't changed. Exactly, Super Blank, exactly. She's super legit. And I'd love to get more into this now, but I didn't even fully read this. I just like glossed over it, so I can't really get into it. And I'm just feeling burnt out. But wow, damn, literally just exposing like IDs and stuff too, and the notaries. That's pretty crazy. Take it easy, man. Catch you on the next one. See you later. Super Blank, hope you have a good night. Jason, hope you have a good night. Let's see who else we had here. Oliver, good night. Anyone else that's out there, hope you have a good night. I'm going to close up the stream. It's been a pleasure being here. Take care.